Welcome to Train Signal. You're watching the Next Steps lesson. In this lesson, we are going to go ahead and take a look at exactly what was covered in this course. Then we're going to go through a little bit of follow-up as far as what you can do next. And then also, we'll wrap things up by talking about exactly what you might want to do next with regards to certification, if that is part of what you are going for. So first, let's take a look at everything that we covered in this course. We started off right from scratch installing Windows Server 2008 R2 and Active Directory. From there, I showed you how to do some remote administration. Matter of fact, we worked remotely through most of the course. Okay, I showed you how you could do almost everything from a Windows 7 client rather than having to go to a physical server, which is very often where? In a cold, uncomfortable server room. We went into Active Directory and saw how to both create and manage our Active Directory objects. Speaking of Active Directory objects, one of the most significant ones that we saw was the group policy objects. And we went through a number of different lessons where we saw how to create, configure, and manage these group policy objects. I showed you how to delegate out administrative control to other managers or maybe other junior IT personnel. And we also covered a little bit about permissions. We covered it both with regards to shared resources, but then also Active Directory objects. We went in and saw how to manage and maintain the Active Directory database. We talked about FSMOs, right? Flexible Single Master of Operations, things like that, as well as how to back up and recover Active Directory. We talked about working with multiple locations. We went in and learned all about sites and replication, but then also using server core and read-only domain controllers for our smaller branch locations. I showed you how to upgrade or migrate Active Directory from Windows Server 2003 to Windows Server 2008. We saw how to work with multiple forests, right? We brought Wired Brain Coffee into the mix, right? We had Global Mantics all the way up to a point, and then we brought in another company, and we had to allow those companies to talk to each other. So we created what was called a trust between the two forests. And then we wrap things up by going through the concepts of additional Active Directory components called lightweight directory services, rights management services, certificate services, and federation services. So what really do you want to do next? What can you do following this course? Well, one thing you can do, if you haven't done it already, is watch the Preparing for Your Windows Server 2008 Active Directory Configuring Certification exam. This is a lesson where I go into the specifics about this exam so that if you're looking for certification, you should know how to go and do it. Now, speaking of certification, there's also the Transcender lessons. Transcender is a product that we include with this course, and we also include a couple of lessons as to exactly how to use the product. So if you are planning on going out and getting certified, there are a number of different resources included with this course that should help you to do that. Now, another thing I want you to always keep in mind is that the lessons in this course can be used as reference material. You are able to go back to any given lesson at any given time. So, anywhere down the road, if you run into a jam, and that down the road could be while you're studying for an exam, or it might be many months down the road when you're actually trying to implement something at your company and you forget how to do it, hang on to the course. Use it as reference material. Now, I've also included a link here to the Microsoft Learning website. And to be more specific, this is the link to where Microsoft explains all the details about the 70-640 certification exam. So what's next for certification? Well, after passing your 70-640 exam, you will be, and yes, this is true, after one exam, you will be an MCTS, Microsoft Certified Technology Specialist for Windows Server 2008 Active Directory. Now, there's a couple of other exams in the same series, and they are the 70-642 and 70-643. Those each also make you an MCTS. One is for network infrastructure, and the other is for applications infrastructure. So if you are traveling down a certification path, those are the next two exams that you want to look into. Now, the next step in certification after MCTS, if you want to grow your certification into something bigger and better, that would be the MCITP, which is Microsoft Certified Information Technology Professional. Now, the 70-640 exam counts towards two different MCITPs. It counts towards the Server Administrator certification, of which the 70-640 is one of three exams that are needed. And I will tell you, the other two exams would be 70-642 and 70-646. But the 70-640 also counts towards MCITP Enterprise Administrator, of which there are 5 exams needed. And those 5 exams are 70-640, which you already have under your belt after this, but then also 70-642, 70-643, 70-647, and then you have to take one client exam, either on Windows Vista or Windows 7. So if you are looking to head down a complete certification path, this is the next place where you're going to want to go. Now, before I say goodbye, I just want to let you know that we at Train Signal are always looking for ways to improve our training. If you have any comments, and I mean any comments at all, things that you liked about the course, things that you'd like to see continued in future courses, or maybe suggestions for making viewing or understanding the material easier for you, any comments at all, good, bad, or ugly, we'd love to hear them. So please don't let this be our last conversation. Feel free to call, email, post a thread on our forums, or you can even visit our website and leave feedback by clicking the floating red feedback button on the left side of the page. Now, don't try clicking on it now, okay? I'm just showing you what it looks like. This feedback button that you're looking at right now is not actually linked to anything. But when you're on our website, you will see a red feedback button like that. And if you click on it, it will take you to a location where you can leave comments. It's really up to you. However you want to communicate with us, that would be great. All I want to say is that we'd really like to know what you think. So with that, I want to tell you that it's been an absolute pleasure having the opportunity to share information about Active Directory with you in this course. And as I always say at the end of every single lesson, I look forward to seeing you in the next course.